graduated from Rowan University in the spring of 2022 with a sports communication and media degree. I got to actually call minor league baseball and G League basketball games while I was in school. And then I graduated, and as soon as I graduated, I went to NFL Films in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And as much as I loved that experience, I miss putting on the headsets. I decided, you know what, talk is cheap. I have a laptop that's in my house, and so 21 months later, here we are, still on YouTube, calling games and building an incredible, loving community on here with the people that I call my Philly freaks with a capital P and a capital H. We go live for every single Phillies, Sixers, and Eagles game, and we do it like old school radio play-by-play style. I'm Jason Joseph, and this is Play-by-Play with JJ.
I showed a swung on barrel. Get out to right field. Bye-bye baseball.
That baby is long gone.
The day is here, man. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you're all doing well and having yourselves a very, very fantastic day. My name is Jason Joseph. This, of course, is Play-by-Play with JJ. Welcome on into our 48-hour fundraising stream. It's our first fundraising stream of the year. Hopefully you're all doing well and having yourselves a very fantastic day. We got a lot to do. We have a lot to do, a lot of things that I'm really looking forward to, of course, today and tomorrow, and, of course, even on Friday morning as well. That's right, we are going to be on stream for 48 hours. It's crazy. We're mad. Okay, we're definitely mad. In a sense where we are just absolutely wild. We really are. So first and foremost, I want to say hello to everybody on here. D.A. David is here. What's up, D.A. David? What's going on? We got D.A. David, we got Denver, we got Doc J, we got Paul. Paul, thank you so much for the 20. Denbrew, thank you so much for the 7. Doc J, thank you so much for the 5. You guys are the best. Oh my gosh. All right, so we are going to get started in just a little bit. And we are going to obviously talk about what is going to happen throughout this whole entire 48 hours. But first and foremost, I do want to let you guys know, mods, yes, if you guys, actually, sorry, not just the mods, this is for everybody that is on here. So, in case people ask me, chat, if they ask me for what the donation link is, all you got to do is type in !donate, and it should give you the link. If anybody wants to post that, they most certainly can. Obviously, people can donate through YouTube, but if they want to do it specifically through the foundation, through the Familial Dysautonomia Foundation, they can. I just posted the link, but if you type in !donate, you can do that. Also, another thing that I'm going to be doing is if I have the !48 hours, this is what it looks like. And then I got !challenges, and this is what it looks like on that side. Let me know if you guys can see this. Yes. Okay, there we go. If you're enjoying the stream, there it is. Okay, good. We're just spamming bots. All right, so there we go. Those are the DiamondZone Challenges. Yes, and those we have the if you're enjoying the stream. Quick update, please make sure that you guys spread the word. Oh, I have to make sure that I get this a little bit higher. Okay, good. Great. We're making adjustments as we go. This is going to be a lot. For sure. But yes, all right, cool. If you're enjoying the stream, a quick post on the socials goes a long way. Share the links. Yes, good stuff. That's !48 hours, and we got !challenges as well. Great stuff. All right, who else is here? We got David in the chat. What's going on, David? What is up, chat? We're going to obviously wait about another 15 minutes or so before we do get started. We have a presentation that we're going to be doing first. how this is going to go is this. Okay, so we got a presentation that we are going to be doing first. And we are going to be doing that presentation up until 12:30. I have 8 streams that are planned out during this whole entire 48 hours, and we're just going to keep the cameras rolling. Okay, DiamondZone will start at 12:40. And then the Phillies play the Giants tonight at 6:40, and so we'll make a separate stream for that. We are going to be doing DiamondZone even as the Phillies are playing. So how that's going to work is when the Phillies are on, obviously we're going to be calling the Phillies game. But if there's runs that are scored, I got to do what I got to do. I got to do my squats. I got to do my jumping jacks. And I got to make sure that I take care of all of that. Then we got DiamondZone again a little bit later tonight after the Phillies game is done. And that'll be from about 9:40 to about 12:30. And then we'll wrap up the night. We'll have a little immaculate grid that we'll do tonight. We'll have a Q&A as well. And then we'll turn on the sleeping camera. You will not see me actually sleep. I am going to be away, but I'm still going to keep the camera rolling. And then we're going to do breakfast together tomorrow morning, and that'll be really, really cool as well. So that's pretty much what's going on. If you guys have any questions throughout the stream, please make sure that you guys comment them down below. This is going to be a lot. This is something new that I'm trying. So I am excited about it. I'm nervous about it as well. But this is something that's definitely going to be a learning experience. And I feel like that no matter what happens during this 48-hour stream, we're doing something good, and we're also creating an experience with each other. And that, to me, is what ultimately matters at the end of the day. So it's not necessarily about how much we raise. Obviously, the goal is to try to get to 10,000. But this is all about having fun as well and being educational. And I really care a lot about that. So I just want you guys to keep that in the back of your minds. I do. All right. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. Obviously, there's going to be adjustments that are going to be made during this stream. Not this specific stream, but during the whole entire 48 hours of streaming. So, obviously, if there's a game that's postponed, or if a game runs a little bit longer, there's things that obviously are going to be out of our control. I am going to obviously have to make sure that I put all the games up on the laptop and then transition things because I can't watch all 12 games at once. But yes, I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. So if there are a couple of pauses, I'm either posting on social media or I'm taking care of something because this is a lot to handle. But we're excited. We're ready to have fun. And we're ready to do something good. This is something that really means a lot to me. We're doing something that is in honor of my brother. So that's why Familial Dysautonomia is the foundation that I wanted to do. We did a charity stream for them last year, and we did nice. We raised over $3,000, and then they doubled it, so we ended up raising over $6,000 last year, and I want to see if we can beat that goal this year. But we didn't do it in 48 hours. We did it in about half a day. So we'll see how it goes. We obviously are also going to be keeping the stream going even until Sunday. I can't speak today. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit all over the place. But even until Sunday, we are going to obviously keep the stream going. So that'll be cool. We're going to keep the fundraiser going. Not the stream. The stream is going to be done on Friday morning. But everything else, when we do the Phillies game on Friday, and then whatever games we decide to do this weekend, all that stuff is still going to go to the Familial Dysautonomia Foundation. So I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. All right, who else is here in the chat? Did I miss anybody? Den Brew, what's going on, my guy? Shout out to the chat. You're all MVPs. It's so good to see everybody. Colton's here. What's up, Colton? All right, so, yeah, give it about another 5 minutes or so, and then we will obviously get started. I still want to make sure that I let people come on in. Please, throughout the day and throughout tomorrow, make sure that you post this on Reddit. Make sure that you post this on all the social media platforms, and please continue to tell people about what we're trying to do. That's really important. That's honestly even more important to me than even just donating. If you can't donate, obviously, I feel like that is like really, really important. I want us to make sure that we continue to spread the word and that we actually do a good job in that department. I think I was slacking a little bit, so I don't really think I necessarily promoted the best on my social medias. That's something that I obviously take pride in, and I have to take accountability for that. But yes, please make sure that you guys post on the socials, tell your friends, and tell your family members about this, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a lot. We got Den Brew. He says, good morning, JJ. Let's raise some money for charity. Let's go. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm so excited. I really am. I've been thinking about this day for a while. To be honest with you guys, when I was in the Bahamas, I was thinking about trying to do something, and I was like, man, like, what are we going to do in honor of 10,000? Because there were people that were messaging me even before we went to the Bahamas, and they're like, what are you going to do when you get to a 10,000 subscribers? Or people reaching out to me, content creators and all that sort of stuff. They're like, what are you going to do? And I slept on it, and when I was literally in the Bahamas, I thought to myself, man, like, this would be a really good thing. This is something that's really personal to me. I was going to do it again in September, like what we did last year. But this is something that's really powerful. This is something that's really nice, and this is something that really means a lot to me. So I feel like that it's for a really good cause, and we're just trying to do good at the end of the day, you know? So that, to me, is what really, really matters. I thought I saw something pop up over on the screen. I could be wrong. No, nothing popped up. But yeah, as people continue to come on in, welcome aboard. My name is Jason Joseph, of course. This is Play by Play with JJ. We already have 14 people here in the chat. And we have raised, so far, $32 within the first hour, which I'm actually really happy about. So thank you again to the donators, to Denver with the 7, to Doc with the 5, and to Paul, of course, with the 20 as well. You guys are the absolute best. I really appreciate it. And we will get updates, of course, on the website as well. I will make sure that I reach out to the foundation and try to have them keep us intact with how much is being donated on the website too, and factor that on in to the whole entire equation. Oh, man. All right, so what time is it? 9:23. It's 9:23 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so while we're actually waiting, let me make sure that I have everything up that I want. So I got the website up, check. That's on this screen. I got the videos up, that's good. And I got the PowerPoint presentation, that's good too. Just want to make sure that I have everything that I want on up. It's great. Doc says, nice bookshelf. Thank you so much, man. This is just a virtual background. It's just a virtual background that I decided to go with. I thought that it was formal, and I thought that it would be good for this type of a thing, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, that feels really good. All right. Give it about one more minute, and then we will get started. Just heard that Embiid got no meniscus or organs left. Oh, wait. This is just a post. I thought that maybe they were going to come out with a report today on what happened last night. But I guess not. Guess not. I just found out this. This is actually a really cool stat, chat. Nick Kurtz, has walked at least once in 17 straight games. 17 straight games the guy has walked. The next closest is Taylor Ward, and he has 7. That's unbelievable. That's actually really crazy to me. I did not even know that. All right. It is 9:25 a.m. Eastern Time. So I guess we should get started, man. I guess we should get started. So without further ado, let's get everything up here on the board. There we go. Good. Okay. So where is the slideshow? We'll play from the beginning right here. Good stuff. All right. Can you guys see this? Give me a 1 down below. And also, if you can hear me loud, well, I guess obviously you can hear me loud and clear because somebody else would have probably said something if you couldn't hear me. But yes, can you guys see the presentation? We're going to get rid of this guy for now. And I am going to hide myself very quickly. Can you guys see the PowerPoint presentation? Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see the PowerPoint presentation down below. There we go. D.A. David says 1. Good. Okay. Great. Colton is also here. You see, you could drop the 1 in the chat as well. That's awesome. That's great. Good stuff. Great. Okay, so this is how things are going to work, chat. And I will obviously repeat this. I will have the same graphics up. But this is how these 2 days are going to go. So day number 1, we're right over... I can't bring my cursor up. I apologize. All right, so day number 1, we have our kickoff stream. This is our kickoff stream that we're doing. This is stream number 1. All right, so we got our lecture that we're going to be doing. We'll get started with that at around 9:30. Then we got MLB DiamondZone. We got DiamondZone later today. DiamondZone, what is DiamondZone? It's basically MLB Red Zone. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a few seconds. But that'll be from 12:40 to 6:35. We got the Phillies playing the Giants tonight. That game will be at 6:40. We'll obviously have to end our stream of DiamondZone. Hopefully it'll be around 6:20, and then we can just start the next one. But yes, and then stream number 4 is going to be MLB DiamondZone. It's the rest of DiamondZone after the Phillies game is done. And then once the final game of baseball is over, we'll have a Q&A. We transition on into day 2. We got a Q&A. We're going to be sleeping, and then we got breakfast, and that's all going to be from about 12:35 to 11:15. And then we start stream number 6, which is going to be DiamondZone. DiamondZone and the Phillies versus Giants game is going to go until 6:20. And then we got a little presentation that's going to go on around 6:25. And then the Blue Jays play at 7:40. And the Sixers obviously just extended their series to Game 6. There's only one baseball game on Thursday night. So that's why we're just doing the Blue Jays versus Twins game. And then we got the Sixers as well. And then stream number 8 is our final block. We got our late night, our Q&A, our immaculate grids that we're going to do. And then sleep. And then we wake up for breakfast all together. Any questions about the schedule? Let me know, of course, down below. If you have any questions about the schedule, now, of course, is the time to ask. I will make sure that I continue to post this and let people know and obviously show the graphic again. But this is what our streaming schedule looks like. By the way, chat, I did want to let you guys know, and I'm going to put the camera back on me for a second. I did want to let you guys know that there are absolutely no ads at all during these 48 hours. There's no ads, not taking any ad revenue. I don't want to do any of that because obviously we're doing this for a really good cause, and you guys should be able to get all the content for free. No ads, nothing like that. I didn't want to do that during this 48-hour stream because that's just really cruel, and that's just not right. So no ads at all whatsoever during the next 48 hours. You heard it from me first. All right, let's go back to our presentation slide. Good, good, good. All right, we'll take this off. And now we'll go to our next slide. So this is the schedule. Our fundraising challenges. Every donation, every goal is a big impact. So if we get to 1,000, if we raise $1,000, we're doing Disney trivia. Okay? And that'll probably be during DiamondZone. It all depends on when it is, but we are going to be doing some Disney trivia. What's up, Larry? Larry, shout out to you, man. Big shout out to you. I don't know why my Ninja Chat is not showing up on here. That's a little bit weird. Okay, well, whatever. It is what it is. But yes, if we get to $1,000, we're doing Disney trivia. If we get to $2,500, we're going to be wearing a Batman mask. I have a Batman mask with me. Mitchell really loved Batman, and I'm going to be doing my voice as well, and that's going to be for an hour. When we get to 5,000, we're doing the SpongeBob Voices for an hour. And how that's going to work is every 15 minutes we do a different type of SpongeBob voice. So during the first 15 minutes, maybe we'll do Squidward. The second 15 minutes, we'll do Patrick. The third 15 minutes, we'll do SpongeBob. And then the fourth 15 minutes, we'll do something like Mr. Krabs. At $7,500, we do Disney Karaoke. I'm going to be making a poll in the chat, and you're going to pick 2 songs from the poll that we are going to do for Disney Karaoke. And that's once we get to $7,500. And then when we get to $10,000, this will not be shown on stream. This will be in a separate video. But we are going to be doing a pie to the face. And I'm going to pie myself. And that's going to be fun. And that's going to be really cool. I see that Haley's in the chat. What's up, Haley? What's going on, Larry? What's going on, the rest of chat? Once again, thank you so much to Doc for the 5, Denbrew for the 7, and, of course, Paul for the 20 as well. You guys are absolutely awesome. Really, thank you so, so much from the bottom of my heart. So any questions about this is my next question to you. So if we go back, whoops, that's not going back. If we go back, this is what our streaming schedule looks like. So we got our lecture that we're going to get started in just a few minutes with. Then we got DiamondZone starting at 12:40. That'll be stream number 2. Stream number 3 is going to be Phillies versus Giants. And then, of course, we're doing our challenges, which we'll get to in just a couple of seconds. And we'll get into that. And then we got DiamondZone as stream number 4 on day 1. Day 2 is our Q&A, our sleep, and our breakfast stream. And so on and so forth. Did Mitchell have a favorite Batman? Was it Michael Keaton, George Clooney, Val Kilmer, etc.? He loved them all. He loved them all. I would say that if he had one favorite, I mean, he loved Batman Returns. I don't know why. I don't like Batman Returns as much. I don't like Batman Returns as much. But yes, he did like Batman Returns. That was, I would say that Batman Returns was one of his favorites, if not his favorite. if we donate on the FD site, is there something that we need to fill out for it to be credited to you? If you donate through the site, actually, what I will do is, again, post the link down below. If you type in ! donate mods, it should actually post the website there. It'll take you right to it, and then actually, here's what I'll do. I will walk you through that in a little bit. But if you click on that link, it'll take you to the site, and then you can add a note, and you can say in honor of Mitchell, or play-by-play with JJ, or something along those lines. And then it gives you a donation option, and yes. So, did he ever see the old 60s TV Batman show? Yeah, he did. He did. He didn't like it as much. He did like the Adam West Batman movie with Burt. Oh my gosh, is it Burt Reynolds? I always forget. Is it Burt Reynolds? Is that his name? But yeah, whoever played Robin, yeah, he always liked that Batman movie. That was a good one. All right, next slide. Let's go to our next slide here. Where are we? So yes, these are the challenges. Here are the DiamondZone Challenges, chat. This is what I'm going to have to do. This is what I'm going to be putting myself through when we do DiamondZone. For every run that's scored throughout these next 2 days, 5 JJs. What are JJs? Those are jumping jacks. For every homer, we're doing 10 squats plus the JJs. So, for example, if it's a solo home run, 10 squats and 5 jumping jacks. If it's a 2-run homer, 10 squats, 10 jumping jacks. And if it's a 3-run shot, 10 squats, 15 jumping jacks. If it's a grand slam, we're doing 3 chair raises. 3 chair raises plus the 10 squats plus 20 jumping jacks for every grand slam that is hit during this stream. For every 30 runs, we're doing 30 kicks. And for every 50 runs, we're doing 50 punches per arm. So it's like this. And that's what is going to happen. I actually did the research, chat, and I will tell you this. Where is my paper? I did the research. Where is my paper? Is that it? No. That's not it. Where is my paper? No. That's not it. Oh my gosh. I have my paper right here. And it's not here. Where did I put it? Here it is. So last week there was a total, on Wednesday, there were a total of 15 games. There were a total of 131 runs scored and 36 homers that were hit. We're doing this on Wednesday and Thursday. So last Wednesday and Thursday, there were 221 total runs. There were 62 homers. So if you do the math right there, think about all the jumping jacks. Think about all the squats. And think about all the kicks and the punches that we are going to be doing. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be absolutely insane. Burt Ward, yeah, Burt Ward. I don't know why I said Burt Reynolds. But that's going to be crazy. We're sick. We're definitely something is not right with us. But yeah, 221 runs were scored last week. 62 homers were hit. The week before that, in the span of 2 days, there were 224 runs in a matter of 25 games, and there were 52 homers that were hit. So that's what all the challenges are for every run that's scored in any of the baseball games, we're doing jumping jacks. So hopefully you guys understand that. I'm going to be exhausted. I am going to be exhausted. It's going to be a lot. But we're doing this for the good. We're doing this for something that's beyond sports. And that to me is what makes me really happy. And it's going to be really funny watching you guys watch me do all these things. It's going to be funny. When we did it last year, it was pretty funny. But this year, we're upping it. So, it's going to be unreal. JJ, you're going to show the documentary on the air. That was exceptional. Spoiler alert, yes. Of course. Of course, we got to show the documentary. Absolutely. This is what the schedule looks like for DiamondZone. This is today. Today's DiamondZone schedule is as follows. This is the schedule right here. Let me make sure that I hide myself really quickly because I want to make sure that I take my camera off, and that way you guys can see it. So this is part one of the schedule for today. The afternoon's a little bit light. It's a little bit light, which is good. So there's a total of 4, 5, 6. There's 7 games this afternoon. And then there's 8 games tonight. So the 7 games, they're not as crowded, which is good. Tampa Bay versus Cleveland. The Angels play the White Sox. We got Mariners, Twins. We got Yankees, Rangers. We got Red Sox, Blue Jays. We got Marlins, Dodgers. And we got Cubs and Padres. And then tonight, this is what part 2 looks like. Part 2 will be from 6:35 roughly until about 12:30 a.m. So we got the Astros playing against the Orioles, Rockies versus the Reds, and we're going to be obviously doing the Phillies game. Phillies are playing against the Giants tonight at 6:40, but obviously whenever there's runs in any of these other games, duty calls, and we're going to be doing them during the inning breaks. So that way it doesn't sound like it's chaotic, you know? So whenever there are runs scored, we will obviously do our jumping jacks and everything during the inning breaks. That's when all that stuff is going to happen. Okay? Cardinals play the Pirates tonight at 6:40. Nationals play against the Mets at 7:10. We got Tigers versus Braves at 7:15. We got Diamondbacks versus Brewers at 7:40. And then later tonight, it'll be Royals versus Athletics at 9:40. So that's what the schedule is for today. So once again, here's the afternoon slate. Here is the night slate. That was really quick. I apologize. Where are we? That's day 2. Here's day 1. We're going to mock you mercilessly, says Larry. I need it, man. All right, definitely am looking forward to that for sure. So, there's part 1. Here's part 2. And then we got tomorrow's DiamondZone schedule. I know this is a lot to throw at you, but I want to make sure that obviously I explained everything. Tomorrow, we got DiamondZone from 11:45 a.m. until 6:15. These are all the games going on tomorrow. All the games going on tomorrow afternoon are scheduled right here. This is what the schedule looks like. We got Tigers and Braves. That should be a good game at 12:15. Then we got Astros, Orioles at 12:35. Cardinals, Pirates again at 12:35. Rockies, Reds at 12:40. Phillies versus Giants at 1:05. And that obviously when that's on, we'll be doing the same thing, focusing on that game. And then during the inning breaks, we'll do the squats and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. And then tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, it's just going to be a doubleheader. There's only one baseball game tomorrow night. It's Blue Jays versus Twins. And obviously, because there's only one game, we'll be able to do the Sixers game tomorrow night. That'll be at 8 o'clock. And we'll obviously be focusing on the Sixers game. But whenever there are runs scored in that Blue Jays Twins game, we'll take care of business and we'll do what we have to do. Any questions about the schedule is my question to you. Comment down below if you have any questions about the schedule. Gonna need a lot of water, man. A lot of water. So that's the schedule. I think we're good to move on. Right, chat? It's going to be a long 2 days. It is. So essentially, baseball-wise, we got streams from 12:40 today until pretty much 12:40 tomorrow. So that's 12 hours. Then we got 11:45 to 6:15, which is essentially 7 hours, 6.5, if you will. So that's 18.5 hours plus tomorrow night. So it's about 22 hours of baseball. Essentially. It's about 22 hours of baseball. So it's a lot. It's jam-packed. And that's another reason why I wanted to make this into a 2-day thing, because, you know, there's baseball in the afternoon. It's easy to build around that. And it's a nice thing. So. Okay. I do want to get to our presentation, but obviously I want to make sure that I ask once again as we go back to the monologue screen. If you have any questions, once again, please make sure that you comment them down below. If you guys didn't get the memo before, I do have some, what do you call it? What are they called? Chat commands. There it is. These are some of the chat commands right here. Are you going to sleep in 48 at all? I am. Let me go back really quickly. Let me go back to the presentation. So this is when we get sleep. The first page. So if you look at day 2, which is like from 12:35 to 11:15, we're doing a Q&A, then we're doing sleep, and then we're doing breakfast. That's all going to be in one stream. That's in the 5th stream that we're doing. And then stream number 8 that we got over at the bottom on the right side. We got late night Q&A, immaculate grids, and we're doing sleep as well. We're probably not going to go to bed, I assume, until like 3 o'clock in the morning tonight. And then we'll get up at around like 10 o'clock, have some breakfast on stream, do a little bit of a Q&A, that type of thing. And then, of course, we got baseball tomorrow morning, late in the morning. So that's what the schedule looks like. And again, I'll make sure that I post this so that way everybody can see it. But yeah, we're probably going to be sleeping, I assume, for about 6 hours. We're not going to be getting a lot of sleep. All right. It is time for us to get into the presentation. We're going to talk about what familial dysautonomia is. And again, if you guys are donating, we'll make sure that we continue to shout you guys out for all the donations that we do get. But yes, We will definitely make sure that we do that. Where is my thing? There it is. Good. Nice. Nice. Okay. So, I'm doing a charity stream, and I'm raising money for familial dysautonomia. What is familial dysautonomia, Jason? Well, familial dysautonomia is a rare disease. It's a rare Jewish genetic disease, actually. It's found a lot in Ashkenazi, Eastern European Jewish ancestry, is really what I meant to say. It basically affects the nerves, and it controls the automatic body functions, the things that most of us never have to think about. So the best way that I can explain this, chat, is my brother, who passed away from familial dysautonomia, could not feel temperature or pain. So if he hurt himself, he wouldn't feel it. And my dad would always say that that was a blessing and it was also a curse. He wouldn't yell, ouch, but he didn't know if he hurt himself. So if he was walking funny, you know, we had to take him to the doctor. If he were to go touch a hot stove, he wouldn't know that ouch, it burns. So we would always have to keep our eye on him just to make sure he didn't hurt himself. He also could not feel temperature either. So if he were to go touch a freezer or a pack of ice, he wouldn't know what cold was. So this disorder affects the nerves. And it, you know, you think about the things that we just don't think about. It's just really crazy. You think about temperature, you think about temperature, you think about heat, you think about pain. You wouldn't know. So basically what this presentation is going to do is I'm going to explain specifically what FD is, what certain families have to face, why awareness can turn pain into purpose, and of course we're doing this for Mitchell. For those of you that don't know, I had an older brother. His name was Mitchell. He passed away in 2020. He was older than me. He was born in 1990. He would have been 30 when he passed. He would have been 30 that year. But he is no longer with us, and that's why I want to do this. So, what is familial dysautonomia? And please ask questions down below. I really want to hear what your questions are, which is crazy. And I'm replying to Larry. You could hit 10K during the stream, which is really wild. It is wild. What is FD, JJ? Familial dysautonomia is a rare inherited disorder that affects the autonomic and sensory nervous systems. That means the body has trouble regulating functions like breathing, blood pressure, digestion, temperature control, and tear production. FD is also known as Riley-Day syndrome or HSAN type 3. So my brother, just to relate it back to him, just to relate it back to Mitchell, had very high and had very low blood pressure. His blood pressure was really unstable. He had to get a lot of meds, some just for the blood pressure. So he could have really high blood pressure or really low blood pressure to the point where he could pass out and he needed oxygen. We actually had oxygen tanks that were in the front of our house. They were always on our porch, and people thought that those were Halloween decorations because they would also be next to our Tin Man. Mitchell really loved the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. But no, they weren't just for show and tell. We would have about maybe 25 oxygen tanks outside, and those were all just in case his blood pressure was low and he needed to be on oxygen. So it could be really just fluctuant, really fluctuant. Mitchell also could not eat by mouth. So when they say that the body has trouble regulating functions like breathing, blood pressure, and digestion, Mitchell was tube fed. He had a GI feeding tube, and he was fed every hour. And when he was sick, he would get more meds. So obviously, if he was not feeling well, we had to make sure that we gave him other meds besides just his regular ones, just to help him feel better. Mitchell also could not produce tears, and that's why tear production is also on here too, because a lot of patients who have FD have a really tough time producing tears. They just do. So that's why he had to get eye drops about every hour or so, just to help him produce tears. And the nurses, or my mom, or my dad, would have to make sure that they gave him eye drops. They would obviously be the ones to feed him. And we obviously made sure that we put the oxygen on him when he had to, when he needed it the most. What's up, Cool J? How you doing? I can't feel anything in my feet due to diabetic neuropathy. I couldn't feel a cut, so it got infected, and I lost part of my foot. Pain sucks, but it serves a purpose, says Larry. I'm happy that you brought that up, man, because it's true. It's a crazy thing. So that's basically what FD is. The body functions most people never think about. FD disrupts the automatic systems that keep us stable. So the autonomic nervous system helps control heart rate, blood pressure, sweating, digestion, and breathing. When that system is unstable, everyday life can become unpredictable. And that was the definition, or I wouldn't say the definition, but that was pretty much the epitome of what it was like, having Mitchell every single day. Every day was unpredictable. If it was a bad day, if he was sick, it was a long day. If he was feeling great, everybody's feeling great. Everybody's happy. Because we all cared about his health. And when his blood pressure was unstable, when he was getting really sick, it was a lot tougher. It was tougher on the nurses. It was tougher on my sister and I. And it was tougher on my parents, of course. And that was the truth. FD patients can deal with sudden changes that require careful monitoring and medical support. And that is obviously true too. That really sticks out to me because Mitchell didn't always have 24 hours of nursing care. And whenever he didn't, guess who had to watch him? My parents would have to watch him. And even as I got older, like if he had to go to the bathroom, like I would take him to the bathroom. Same thing with my sister. My parents never wanted me to learn how to feed him. They never thought that that was my responsibility when it came to taking care of him. They showed me how to do it, but they never wanted me to do it on my own. Same thing with the nurses. They never thought that that was my responsibility. But he did need a lot of attention. Mitchell really loved movies. He loved Disney movies, and he loved having his own DVD player. And so when we go back to talking about not feeling temperature or pain, sometimes what he would do is when we would be in the kitchen or something, if we were doing another task, he would put the DVD player to his eye. And he wouldn't feel it. He wouldn't feel that he was, that was hurting. But he actually got a corneal abrasion from doing that, which is crazy. And we took him to go see one of the eye doctors during COVID, actually. And shout out to her. She's incredible. We couldn't get an appointment with him in the office. And my mom drove there with him in the car. And, you know, she lived about like 5 minutes away. And she saw him right in her driveway. And she took care of him. And she would actually text my mom. And it would be like a back and forth conversation. And my mom would send pictures of the abrasion, and she would walk her through, the eye doctor, like what to do, how to treat it, and all that type of stuff. We had some really good doctors in our life that really took a lot of good care of him. And we were really, really fortunate. But he needed a lot of monitoring. And he definitely needed medical support for sure. I could go into a lot of details, a lot of stories about the types of support or just about lack of support. I can get into all of that. I'm not going to do that now. But he definitely did need a lot of attention. He did. So. And again, if you guys obviously have any questions, please feel free to ask down below. I'm probably going to do this presentation again tomorrow and even later tonight because I want people to know about Mitchell. I want people to know more about this disorder because this really hits home for me. And I feel like that a presentation is a good way to explain it. And obviously the video too. What causes FD? FD is usually caused by mutations of the ELP1 gene that used to be called the ICAP gene. It's inherited in an autosomal recessive pattern, meaning a child must inherit a changed copy of the gene from both parents. The result is reduced normal ELP1 protein, which affects the development and survival of nerve cells. So basically, in English, let me put it to you this way. Both of my parents are carriers of the gene. So they had a 1 in 4 chance of having a kid with FD. They carried the recessive gene, and they had a 1 in 4 chance. My aunt's a carrier. My sister's a carrier. And I have family members on both sides that are carriers. But guess who's not a carrier? Me. I'm the only one in my family that is not a carrier of the FD gene. Which means if I get married, my kid, and if I have kids, my kid is not going to have FD. So, but there's a 25% chance if my sister, who does carry the gene, and if her fiance carries the gene, there's a 25% chance that they could have at least a child who has FD. So, but yeah, I'm not a carrier. I'm very lucky in that sense. Who's most affected? It's rare but deeply important. FD is most common amongst people of Ashkenazi Jewish ancestry. As I mentioned before, it's through rare disease. Awareness matters for everyone. So, again, it's an Eastern European heritage. That's where it comes from. Because FD is rare, many people have never heard of it unless it has touched their family, which obviously it has touched mine. And that obviously is why awareness and testing and research support are really important. any of you could be carriers of this. It's true. What are the common signs and the symptoms, JJ? FD affects many systems at once. Early symptoms can include poor muscle tone, feeding problems, poor growth, and lack of tears when crying. We talked about how Mitchell had problems swallowing when he was a baby, and they knew that something was not right. He was having issues swallowing food, and he didn't have a lot of growth. And so they went to NYU, the medical center, which is where they treat patients with FD. And he got tested, and I forget what his case number was. My mom could probably tell me in the chat if she's tuning on in, or my dad. But anyhow, that's how they knew that he had early symptoms. Other symptoms include frequent lung infections, swallowing problems, temperature regulation issues, and blood pressure instability. Because multiple body systems are involved, care often requires a team approach. And that couldn't be more true for Mitchell. Mitchell always had a team around him. A team of nurses, a team of doctors, a team of family, which was really important. He was literally the center of everybody's life. Everyone's life, especially in my family, revolved around him. And like I said before, when things were going well, when he was feeling good, our jobs became a lot easier. When he was not feeling well, when he was sick, when he was in crisis, when he was just, not feeling his best at all, when his blood pressure was really low, everybody's life became a lot tougher. And that's what happened. Every day, my mom would always say that every day we would always have a plan E, a plan F, and a plan G. It went all the way down to Z because you never knew what type of a day he was going to have. So sometimes our plans, even if we wanted to do something nice for him, like go to Sesame Place because he loved Sesame Street, sometimes they had to be canceled because he wasn't feeling well, and we would buy tickets or whatever it was. And if he wasn't feeling good, we couldn't go. We just couldn't do that. If, my mom had to go to the grocery store and nobody else was home, she had to take Mitchell with him or with her. And even just to go to the grocery store, she would have to pack all his meds if he didn't have any nursing. Of course, she had to pack up the wheelchair, take it in the van, and, of course, pack his movies as well, because Mitchell loved watching movies on his DVD player. So it was a lot of responsibility to just be able to take care of him and just to be able to watch him, even if you wanted to run an errand. She would usually ask me if I could come along or if my sister could come along, but if we couldn't, then she had to do it herself. Same thing with my dad. So I want to say hello to everybody that's here in the chat. Mitch, thanks so much for tuning on in, man. Good to see you on here, my guy. 396. 396 was his number. Thanks so much. Thanks for letting me know. Because that is important to me. I need to write that down because that to me is really important. And obviously, Mom, you can add things in the chat. If I miss certain things, feel free to chime on in to the conversation as well. Shout out to Mom. I love you, Mama. Same thing with you too, Dad. Sensory challenges. Okay. When the body doesn't send normal warning signals, Many people with FD have reduced sensitivity to pain and temperature, just like we talked about it before. And that can be dangerous because of injuries, burns, or illnesses. May not be felt the same way that most people would feel them. Mitchell loved to bang. Mitchell loved making sound effects. Okay, so if there was a boom that was going on in a Batman movie, Mitchell would bang his hands or his feet, and he could hurt himself that way. And there were times where we had to take him to go see a specialist because he needed a cast. And that was the truth. He would hurt himself, and he couldn't tell us if he was hurt, but we had to look. We had to look out for those signals. So if he was walking funny, if his hand was just hanging, or if it was bleeding, or if we could see any sort of visual representation of him just looking hurt, then we had to obviously take him to that specialist. And he had to wear a cast. He didn't like wearing the cast. Sometimes he would just want to take it off. But we had to keep it on him, obviously. So you really had to watch. And that was something that was a lot. He would also grind his teeth as well. We would have to tell him, Mitchell, no teeth. And that's something that a lot of people who have FD, it's a comfort thing for them when they grind their teeth. And when he did it, we would always have to tell him, no teeth. And he knew exactly what that meant. Balance, coordination, taste, and eye dryness can also be issues as well. Mitchell could only walk short distances. Whenever he would get up to go on over to the bathroom, somebody had to make sure that they walked him, especially if his blood pressure was low. They had to make sure that the oxygen tank was on. We had a portable oxygen tank with us, and he would have to walk with the oxygen tank, and somebody would have to help him, hold him as he was walking. He also slept upstairs. So every night when he would go to bed, the nurses and even other people in the family, including myself, would have to walk up with him. And then he would go to the bathroom first, and then we would take him right to bed. But he always had to have the oxygen on when he was going upstairs, because you just couldn't trust him. There were points where he could actually pass out if he didn't have the oxygen tank that was on. So, but balance, coordination, taste, and all of that sort of stuff was a big factor in Mitchell's life, for sure. Dysautonomic crises. I just talked about crisis. What really is crisis? Crisis is a dysautonomic crisis can involve severe vomiting, sweating, anxiety, or distress, and spikes in blood pressure. Every morning, Mitchell would wake up, and he would pretty much be in crisis. That was pretty much almost every morning. And he would sneeze a lot. Mitchell could not vomit. He had a fundoplication that was done when he was really young, because he obviously could not fully eat by mouth at all. He couldn't eat by mouth at all, so he had to get a fundoplication. And they had to put a rod in his back as well. But anyhow, he couldn't vomit. He couldn't do that. So he would retch a lot in the mornings, and he couldn't control it. Sometimes he would actually get into crisis because he wanted a different movie. So whenever, he wanted a different movie to watch, he could actually get himself sick, because then he wouldn't be happy, and he could make himself sick that way. So even if you started to notice that he wasn't feeling well, my sister and would obviously know to talk to him, ask him what movie he wanted to watch, and all that type of stuff. For families, this creates constant uncertainty when the next crisis will happen. These episodes, they call it, can be frightening because they may happen suddenly and can become very serious. And they did. They obviously were really serious. And my sister and I, and my mom and my dad, were always on the same page. My mom and my dad never argued about decisions that had to have been made for Mitchell. They could get into like little arguments, but whenever it came to Mitchell, everybody was on the same page. Everybody was on the same team, and we all had to execute the same plan. And we just knew exactly what to do. We were always there. If Mitchell got really sick, if his blood pressure was really low, somebody would go grab the oxygen tank. Somebody would try to talk to him, right? If it obviously came to an emergency, somebody would have to, call the hospital. And we all knew what we had to do. So I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that, because a lot of times people don't have that same communication skills that we do. And my parents really wanted to make sure that from a young age that they all knew, or that everybody in the family knew, that if something was wrong with him, we had to take care of him. He was priority number one. That was the truth. JJ, I donated through the website link. Thank you so much, Max. What's up, Max? How you doing? Thanks so much, my guy. Please, thank you so much for being able to do that. I really, really appreciate it, man. You have no idea how much that means to me. But a lot of uncertainty whenever he was sick. That's the bottom line. And everybody had to be there. Trey Turner to the Diamondbacks. Is that actually true? Can somebody actually approve that? What's up, Evan? How you doing, man? Daily life with FD. Not just doctor visits, a whole way of living. Families often manage medications, nutrition, breathing concerns, infections, blood pressure changes, and crisis episodes. Mitchell probably had, we would always tell people that we would have a pharmacy at our house because Mitchell was on a lot of medications. A lot of medications. Max says it's not true at all. Thanks for telling me. Mitchell was on a lot of meds. He was. And every hour, depending on how he was feeling, he would get certain meds. One was for blood pressure. One was for, heart rate. You had other things that were for all different types of stuff. All different types of things. Motrin, Valium, all that. You get Pedialyte too. Pedialyte was a big thing for him. FD can affect independence, school, sleep, travel, and everyday routines. Mitchell, every single day, had to have a nurse that went with him to school, and it had to be somebody that obviously knew his case. Somebody that knew how to deal, somebody that was in the house, a home care nurse. That's what we would have. And the home care nurse would go to school with him. Shout out to Melody. Melody, great nurse. Took a lot of really good care of Mitchell. And she would go to school with him. And she would be there even when he was on the bus. And she would be here at the house. She was here for a really, really long time. So, but she had to go to school with him every single day. And if the nurse called out, Mitchell would not go to school. If Mitchell was not feeling well, he wouldn't go to school. Unfortunately, there was a time where he didn't go to school for about 6 months because the board, long story short, told the nursing staff that he couldn't have an LPN go to school with him. And it really sucked. It really sucked for him. It sucked for my parents. It sucked for everybody that was involved because they had to fight. They had to fight to try to get Mitchell the best care, the best help that he could get. And during that whole time, it was really, really complicated that he just couldn't go to school just because he had an LPN nurse. And it was a battle. Even the little things, getting meds, getting feeding tubes, all those little things were battles. I would actually get in the car in middle school, and my mom would tell me, with Mitchell in the car, Jason, I'm not yelling at you. I've been on the phone for 2 hours with the insurance companies just trying to make sure that Mitchell can get his feeding tubes for the next month, or his oxygen tanks were covered by the insurance company, or his nursing, or whatever it was. Everything was a battle. And even the little battles, you know, when they would call and they would say Mitchell is good to have, you know, his meds covered for another month, we would always breathe, and my mom always took pride in those victories. Same thing with everybody in the family. Dr. DeLay, thank you so much for the $13 donation. I really appreciate it, man. Shout out to Dr. DeLay. You are the man. I really appreciate you. So, yes, Mitchell had to have a nurse with him when he went to school every single day. FD can affect independence, school, sleep. Mitchell had to wear oxygen when he went to sleep. When we traveled, we didn't get to travel a whole bunch. And what I mean by travel is go on a flight, because Mitchell did not do so well with flights. We did do some really nice things, though. We did go to Disney World twice. One was with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which was really cool. But then when he got older, we didn't really fly. And every time we wanted to do something nice, we got a house. We did get a house in the Outer Banks, but we couldn't just fly there. We had to drive. We took 3 different cars with us, and in the van that we had, it was all medical supplies. It was all medical supplies. We would have all these oxygen tanks in the van. We had his clothes, his meds, everything that he needed just to pretty much live during this trip. And then in another car, we would have our luggage, our food, and all that type of stuff. But we really had to pack carefully. My dad was really good at packing. Still is really good at packing, of course. I learned a lot about how to pack things because of him. And we always had to make sure that we packed the right amount for Mitchell, because he needed a lot of care. With all the oxygen tanks, with all the machines that he needed, he had a vest which helped him with his respiratory system, helped him get junk out of his chest whenever he wasn't feeling well. Same thing with the cough-a-lator. We had to pack all that stuff up every single time, even if we went and we stayed overnight at a place for 2 days. That stuff all had to be packed up. And we had to make sure that it was all ready for him. And I would obviously have to help with the packing. That was a big thing. So when I was younger, I never really took a lot of big trips. I never went out of the country. I never did a lot of flying. And the main reason why was because he was in our lives. And he just couldn't fly. You know, and he needed a lot of things to be packed. So it obviously did impact our travel and our everyday routines. My mom's life revolved around him. If somebody had to call out, my mom was there. If somebody couldn't step up to the plate, my mom was there. And then, of course, we tried to be there too. And we would step up and we would help out Mom. And we would help out Mitchell as well. But she did all the heavy lifting. If a night nurse called out at night, He did have night nurses. The night nurses would watch him from about 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the morning. But if a night nurse called out because the weather was bad or because they were sick, my parents had to stay up. And they had to split the night together. That's the way that it was. JJ, is this site tied back to you, or do we need to fill in something to make sure it is linked to your efforts here today? The site, is the site tied back to you, or do we need to fill something to make sure that it is linked to your efforts today? What do you mean by that? If you go onto the site here, I'll press the donate button. I'll type in ! Donate. Where is it? There it is. That should be able to take you to the site there. And that's it. That's it. I hope that answered your question. But yes, there should be a link to the donation. All right, how many slides do we have left? We have 7. Diagnosis. How is FD identified? FD can be confirmed through genetic testing. Once again, I'll say this again. I'm the only one in my family that's not a carrier of the FD gene. So my sister's a carrier. My mom and my dad were obviously carriers. My aunt's a carrier. My uncle's actually a carrier too. But I'm not. I'm not a carrier of the FD gene. It's a recessive gene, and if both partners in a relationship carry the gene and they decide to have a kid, there's a 1 out of 4 chance that their kid has familial dysautonomia. So because I don't carry the gene, it doesn't matter if my partner has it or not. My kid's not going to have FD. No problem, man. Keep asking questions, chat. And again, I know that some of you guys are just tuning on in now. I do want to say thank you all so much for tuning on in. We're on for 48 hours, man. We started at 8:45. I really wanted to start this at 9. So we're just technically calling it 9 o'clock. But I will provide the schedule for the streams for you again in just a little bit. I'll catch you up with what is going on throughout these 2 days. But there's a lot. There's a lot going on. We are going to do this presentation again, of course. Is Alyssa a carrier? Yes. Alyssa is a carrier. Everybody in the family except for me is a carrier. So, yeah. Treatment and management. There's no cure yet. But care obviously does matter. Treatment focuses on managing symptoms and preventing complications. Care may involve medications, which he got a lot of, feeding support, and again, he was totally tube fed. Physical therapy, he definitely got physical therapy, respiratory support, eye care, and monitoring blood pressure. Mitchell was on the very severe side of FD. Mitchell had one of the most severe cases, if not, I would actually argue the most severe case. So, out of all the patients that had it, I would argue. But everybody's is different. Now, he didn't go blind. We definitely knew people that did go blind who had FD. Mitchell did not go blind, though. Medical advances have improved outcomes, but FD still remains a lifelong condition. Yeah. Steve, thanks so much for being on here, man. Hi, JJ. You're the best brother you can be. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that. I really do. I'm not perfect, as you guys can see. I'm not just an announcer. I'm a human. And, like, people always say, like, there's, you don't always know what goes on behind the screen. You don't know, like, what people are going through. And that couldn't be more true for me. Because I do have a life outside of streaming. There is more to me. And this is just a peek behind the curtain of what life was like for me for 20 years. About 20 years. Research and hope. Why does funding matter, JJ? Researchers are studying treatments that may increase functional ELP-1 protein and improve autonomic stability. Potential approaches include gene-focused therapies and small molecules that target the underlying biology of FD, and every donation and awareness effort helps move research forward, and that could not be more true. The more that is donated, the more that goes on into research, and that really does matter. It's a huge thing. You also get more programs for gene therapy, as they mentioned, new treatments, and hopefully eventually a cure. Obviously, this matters to me because of Mitchell. I mean, I don't really have to say much else. I care about raising awareness to honor his memory. People were like, what do you want to do when you get to 10,000 subscribers? I miss Mitchell. I miss him so much. You don't understand. I'm not doing this if it weren't for him. Mitchell really loved baseball. Whenever we would take him to go to Phillies games, he loved the Philly Fanatic. His favorite baseball movie was Angels in the Outfield. He also really liked football too. His team was the Packers. He loved green. And so he's really influenced my life. You know? And with all the bad things that happened, there were a lot of good things. And to be completely honest with you, with all the battles that we had to deal with all the nightmares of dealing with the insurance companies and with fighting for him, anybody in my family would say that they would do that just to get him back. And that's the truth. Because Mitchell was a ray of sunshine. Mitchell was such a good guy. He had a great sense of humor. And, you know, grief is a really funny thing. Grief is a really funny thing, but I find that talking about him and that not ignoring him is huge. Because, again, he mattered a lot to me. Mitchell couldn't speak up for himself. We always had to speak up for him. But this is why it touches me. Because it hits home. I did make a documentary when I was in high school about him. I did a TV media class when I was in high school. I took one. And our final project was to create a documentary on Mitchell. It was to create a documentary. And I thought, well, this is easy for me. Let me make a documentary on Mitchell. And I did. And I will play that for you in a little bit. So make sure that you stay on for that, because then you can visually see who he was. You can see pictures. You get to see activities that he does. You get to hear more from my parents and from all the other nurses too that were around at that time. Because it all stands true. You know? Why awareness matters. This might sound a little bit repetitive. Rare diseases need people willing to ask and talk about them. They're often under-recognized, and they are also underfunded as well. And that's the truth. You know, every single disease is obviously important. You know, the research for that matters. But the rare ones matter too. And they don't get as much support. And they get undervalued and under-recognized. But those things really do matter. Awareness can lead to earlier diagnosis, better support, stronger communities, and also more research funding as well. Every year, we always had FD Day, and that was in June. And FD Day was a time for all the families to gather out to NYU. The patients and the kids, a lot of them were kids, and teenagers and young adults would go upstairs. They would mingle with each other. And, of course, like Mitchell would have his DVD player. And, you know, I would go up with him, or the nurse would, and the nurse would go up too. And, you know, other people would come on up to him and ask him, like, what he was watching. But they always had activities for the kids and activities for the patients, I should say. But then the parents would stay downstairs after breakfast, and they would sit through lectures at the, you know, in the auditorium that they had there. And they would learn more about the research that was done that year on just FD itself. And it was more of a conference for them. And then after the presentation was done, they would break off into groups and they would have lunches, and different doctors would go around different tables just to talk about what they specialize in and what they found through research in all different types of areas, because this affects so many different types of things. And they would go around to all different tables and they would speak to the parents and even the kids. And that was something that was really important. And they always made sure that they did that every year, because they also cared about gathering everybody together and making events, making social groups, because it's a very close-knit thing. Like, there's not many people in the world that have it. So, awareness can lead to earlier diagnosis, as I mentioned, better support, stronger communities, and more research funding. Sharing a story can turn grief into impact. Why do you think I'm here today, guys? That's why. I love that last line. So how can you help? Donate to FD research and family support organizations. We obviously have our fundraising stream going on. You can donate via YouTube, or you can also donate. I'm going to post the link down below again. If you type in !donate, there's a link that gives you a direct PayPal link, and then there's one that gives it directly to the foundation as well. If you don't feel comfortable doing it through YouTube, that's fine. YouTube, however, does take all of it doesn't take any percentage. None. Doesn't take any percentage. The only reason why that it took a percentage last year was because we didn't get FD as a nonprofit organization approved from YouTube. So that's why I really encourage people to donate through the website. But this year, you can do either or. Donate through the website or donate directly on YouTube. We got a $20 we got a $20 donation from Blazed. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Blazed. We got a $50 donation from Eric. Thank you all so much. You guys are insane. Eric Lovely, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I have to obviously add you guys to the list. If you did donate, I will make sure that I keep announcing this too. Please, please, please email me because I want to send out a whole email list if you did donate on YouTube. Because I care about that and I want to send you personal thank you letters because what you're doing means the absolute world to me. So Blazed, thank you so much for the $20. Eric, thank you for the $50. Paul, thank you for the $20. Denbrew, thank you for the $5. We also had a 7 before. I wrote it down. I don't know where it is. I need to keep better organized of my list. Denbrew with the 7. Doc J with a 5. Paul with the 20. Max also said that he donated through the website as well. Thank you so much, Max. I appreciate that. And yes, Blazed with a 20. I will make sure I write the stuff down. And Eric with a 50. Wow. And I'm sure that there's more, but I'm just scrolling down right now. This stream is not... Yeah, there we go. What's up, Blaze? Blaze says, yo, JJ, God bless you for doing this. Props to your brother. Keep up the amazing work, my friend. David says, I did $100. Oh, my gosh. David, you're insane. David, you're unbelievable. I did $100. If I did correctly, my company Anthem will match it. Oh, my gosh. David, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of tears during this. I dropped $100 on the website, Max. Oh my gosh, $100. Oh my gosh, Max. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Oh, man. Ugh. We still got a couple more slides. What time is it? 10:41? Yeah. We still got some more slides to get through. These are the sources. Obviously, the medical center is at NYU. I will be taking any questions that you guys obviously have. Please feel free to ask, because even during like the off hours, during the non-baseball hours, I really want to obviously center everything that we do around Mitchell. I will, right now, for those of you who are just tuning on in, what I'm actually going to do, once again, is I'm going to go through the schedule of what we are going to do. Let them flow, brother. This is amazing. Thanks so much, Max. I appreciate it. So this, again, is what the schedule looks like. Let me take my picture off so that way you guys can see it in total. Day 1, and there's day 2, all on the left and all on the right side. So this is our kickoff stream at 12:30. We're going to end this stream and we're going to start our Diamond Zone stream. Diamond Zone is basically like Red Zone, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be on for 6 hours doing that, and then we got the Phillies game along with all the other baseball games going on at that time. So we'll have our third stream. That'll be Phillies versus Giants. Fourth stream is Diamond Zone Part 2. And then we got our Q&A, our sleep, and our breakfast stream from 12:35 approximately up until 11:15. And then tomorrow we got Phillies and Diamond Zone from 11:20 a.m. up until 6:20. And then tomorrow night there's only one baseball game, so we're doing Blue Jays and Twins, and then we're doing the Philadelphia 76ers game. The Sixers play at 8 o'clock. And we'll be keeping our eye, of course, on that Twins-Blue Jays game. We're doing a late-night Q&A as well. That'll be during the final block. So please make sure that you guys are on for those. We're going to be up probably for like 18 hours, or sorry, not 18 hours, I'm sorry. Throughout most of the stream, it's 48 hours. We're probably going to be up for like most of like the 42 of the hours, man. With all honesty, I just want to see the JJ Pie. I just want to see JJ Pie himself. Let's do it, man. Let's pie ourselves. That would be awesome. These are the fundraising challenges, chat. It all revolves around Mitchell. So when we get to $1,000, we're doing Disney trivia. When we get to $2,500, if it's during DiamondZone, I got to put the Batman mask on, and I got to do a Batman voice for 1 hour. I got to do the jumping jacks, that's a spoiler because that's on the next slide. I got to do everything that I do in the Batman voice. Read chat, call the game, all that stuff. And then when we get to 5,000, we do an hour straight of SpongeBob voices, 15 minutes of SpongeBob, 15 minutes of Patrick, 15 minutes of Squidward, and 15 minutes of maybe Mr. Krabs or Plankton or whoever. And so, if you're familiar with SpongeBob, it's going to be fun. Mitchell really loves SpongeBob, and he loved it when I did my SpongeBob voices. And then when we get to 7,500, if we get there, we're doing Disney Karaoke. You get to pick the songs. We're going to be doing it on stream. I obviously am going to make sure that everything is, DMCA approved. And then when we get to 10,000, we get pied in the face. For DiamondZone, this is how it's working. So, for every run that's scored in baseball during these next 2 games, for every run that's scored, I have to do at least 5 jumping jacks. If it's a 2-run double, I do 10 jumping jacks. If it's a 3-run double, I do 15. For every homer, I do 10 squats plus the jumping jacks. So if it's a solo homer, I do 10 squats plus the 5 jumping jacks. If it's a 2-run homer, I do 10 squats plus 10 jumping jacks. And so on and so forth. You do the math. If there is a grand slam, we're also adding in 3 chair raises, plus the squats, plus the jumping jacks. And for every 30 runs that's scored, I got to do 30 kicks. I got to stand up and I got to kick my feet. And I got to do 30 kicks per foot. Same thing with the 50 runs. It's 50 punches. It's a lot. It's a lot to keep track of. And I'm probably going to get really tired. I can already see it. I will put it to you this way, chat. Last Wednesday, there were a total of 131 runs scored. And there were 36 homers that were hit last Wednesday in a total of 15 games. I suspect that that's how many jumping jacks, that's how many squats we're going to be doing. And the kicks as well, and the punches. So 131 runs equals about 715 total jumping jacks. 360 squats for 36 homers. And then the kicks, and then the punches. And we are going to be keeping track of how many runs and how many homers are hit during the streams. And I'm going to need your help. I'm really going to need your help keeping track of the number of homers. What's going to be really interesting is if a team is up, let's just say 9-1 going into the top of the 9th inning, and the opponent scores like 2 runs, I still got to do the jumping jacks. I still got to do the squats. This is so much better than the streamers that drink beer for Super Chats. Dude, it's going to be unbelievable. It is going to be freaking-sane. Again, if you have more questions, please comment down below. This is what the schedule looks like for day 1. Part 1, we're going to be fit by Saturday. It's going to be beautiful, man. It's It's going to be absolutely beautiful. This is the schedule. So we got DiamondZone starting today at 12:40 p.m. Eastern Time. The first game will be at 1:10, and then we go all the way until 6:30, roughly or so. I'm hoping that by the time the Cubs and Padres game is in like the 6th inning, which is maybe like 5:30, and there's just one game left, we can just start our brand new stream. And we can just end the current one and then just get ready for the next stream, which is this. We are doing the Phillies game. Do not get me wrong. We're calling the Phillies game, but, chat. If there are runs scored, duty calls, and it's going to be during the Phillies inning breaks. So if the Rockies are the 2-run homer and the Phillies game is on, we're doing our jumping jacks and our squats during the breaks of the Phillies game. Phillies take number one priority, but obviously we're keeping track of every other game that's going on just so that we can see how many squats and how many jumping jacks we're going to be doing. Once the Phillies game is over, we'll then end that stream, start a new one, and go until the end of the baseball day, which I assume will probably be around 12:30, 12:40, maybe even a little bit later. Maybe it's 1 o'clock. So that's part 2 of DiamondZone today. Day 2 of DiamondZone. It's going to start at 11:45, and we're going till 6:15. The Phillies again do play tomorrow afternoon. They're on at 1:05, as you can see right here on the schedule. So, that'll be cool. What was I going to say? I forget. So, yes, we're doing the Phillies game. Of course, that takes the number one priority. But obviously, again, same thing goes for tomorrow. We're focusing on the Phillies game, but if there's other runs that are scored, duty calls, as I like to say. And that goes all the way until 3:05. So there are a total of 8 games that we're doing on DiamondZone tomorrow. And that's going to go until 6:15. And then tomorrow night, there's only one baseball game. And therefore, we'll be able to do the Sixers game tomorrow night. The Sixers and Celtics extended the series to Game 6. So we will be doing the Sixers game tomorrow night. People have asked me, are you doing the Flyers? The reason why I'm not doing the Flyers is because they're on tonight and there's 8 baseball games going on. And obviously, that's the number one focus. Any questions about the schedule? Any questions about anything? Whether it's about FD, whether it's about Mitchell, now's the time to ask. Now is the time. Let the bodies hit the floor, says Dr. Delay. Ryzen Rhino, thanks so much for being on here, man. Ryzen Rhino's early for you. Oh, man, you got school. What's up, Ryzen Rhino? Shout out to you guys. If you love football content, go subscribe to Ryzen Rhino. If you also love football content, go subscribe to Dr. Delay. Rhino covers NHL playoffs. He does football. He's doing the UFL. He does everything football. He's also doing the Denver Nuggets games for basketball as they're in the playoffs. Does a great job with that. Dr. Delay, on the other hand, covers the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Pittsburgh Steelers. He does NFL. He does Major League Baseball. He does NHL playoffs as well. He does college sports. This guy just does it all. He really does. So please make sure that you go check him out. If I missed anything from the both of you, please call me out down below. I think I covered it all. But when I tell you that they do a great job, they do an awesome job, please provide your links down below because I want other people to go subscribe. Mitch, thank you so much for the donation through the website. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it, my guy. I have to make sure that I reach out and that we figure out how much is being donated through the website because this is just through YouTube. YouTube shows me the total of what's being donated, but the foundation, I have to make sure that I reach out to them and have them let me know how much is being donated throughout the day. Grace is here. What's going on, Grace? How you doing? Good to see you, Grace. Emojis are set for Sixers basketball. Yeah. We're going to have to obviously reset them for the Phillies for tonight and for tomorrow afternoon, and then reset them again for the Sixers tomorrow night as well. That's something that I do have to work on. Getting all this stuff coordinated, though, guys, like, you have no idea. It took me so long. And you haven't even seen half the things. Like, the presentation's one thing. Getting everything else ready really took a lot. Let's pray that the internet's good. Let's definitely pray that the internet is good, for sure. What's up, Grace? Let's take a sip of water. It's okay to actually pause, JJ. I want to make sure that I keep up with everything that's been donated so far. Chat, so far we have raised $115 on YouTube. That is incredible. Plus, you have to factor on in the 100 from David and the 100 from Max, plus the matching potentially. We've pretty much raised like $315 from what I've seen so far. And that's just not even including the website and other people that I've reached out to that have and probably are going to continue to donate. So that's incredible. That's really unbelievable. And look, chat, I want you to just remember, okay, please do not feel bad if you cannot donate. There is no reason to pout. There's no reason to be upset. As long as you're here, as long as you're learning, and as long as you're also being entertained and you're spreading the word, that really is what matters to me. I'm trying to use my platform to take it to another level because as much as I love calling sports, I'm an influencer. I have to remember that. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm an influencer. And I really want to try to use my platform to try to make things better. You hear about so many bad things that are going on in the world. I'm not going to get on into politics. I'm not going to get into that. But let's try to do something that's really nice. You know, something that can bring us together, because that to me is what sports is all about. And I want to use sports as an outlet for that. Do you understand? That's really what I feel like my purpose is on here. Somebody asked me it was 2 years ago. They said, what's your end goal? Like, what's your end goal when it comes to being on YouTube? And to be honest with you, at the time, I didn't know how to answer it. But as time has gone on, I've realized, and this is ever changing, and that's totally fine. My goal is to make a lasting impact and try to help other people that are in need. And also try to do good while having fun. And I was a little bit scared of doing that last year. I wanted to try it out in September. I'm happy that we did it. This year I want to host more of these types of things. Because I feel like that there's a universe out there on YouTube that, you know, like they love community. Like, community is something that really does matter. You know? And that's what I feel like that my purpose is on here. I want to create community, and I want to be able to help other people, other organizations that are in need, just because of the type of nature that I have. I'm not just a play-by-play announcer. I'm not just a sportscaster. I'm more than just that. I'm an influencer. And that's what I realized the power of this platform has sort of become. You know? Everything that I do makes a difference. So, that's where I stand. What does Grace say? I'm good. I'm hoping that your day goes well, says Grace. Thank you so much. I'm very happy with how things have gone so far. I really am. It's It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And again, please make sure that you guys ask more questions about Mitchell, ask more questions about FD. I didn't say this and I apologize. When it's 11:45, I will play the documentary that I made on Mitchell. I will do that at about 11:45. I made a documentary about Mitchell and about his life when I was in high school. I did it for a senior project. It was for a documentary. It was for a TV media class. And I thought, like, what better to do it than on my brother, because I live with Mitchell and this is my daily life and this is what people don't see behind the curtain. But that's a part of me. He's a part of who I am. And I'm not doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for him. And God, I miss him. I keep saying that, but it's so true. I really miss him. I do. So, you guys are the best, though. You built the community. We're here for you, says Eric. You're all MVPs, man. If I spam that sound effect, it's because I really mean it. Chat, we got 23 people watching. To be completely honest with you, during this time of the day, I only expected about 10 people to just be watching. This is amazing. It's already 11 a.m. Wow. So again, please feel free to ask questions. Please feel free to make sure that you guys also, not only ask questions, but just feel free to chime on in. Mom, if you're still here, if there's something that you want to add about Mitchell, please feel free to do so. Same thing with you, Dad. Shout out to the both of you. You guys are incredible parents. I love you both so much. I'm just super lucky. I will be in and out, says Grace. I'm at work. I understand. Please do not get fired today, chat. If you are at work. I also understand that part of it is a little bit tough. But if you are working, please do not get fired. I did want to actually walk through the website with you guys. So let's actually end this. Let's press escape here. Let's put our thing back up. There we go. And then we can change the whatchamacallit. Where's the website? There it is. Good. Here is the Dysautonomia website. I'm going to post that right now. Just bear with me for 1 second. Where are we? History of familial dysautonomia. There we go. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. This is the Familial Dysautonomia website that they have. It's I will post the link. This is the history part of the site. If you guys want to go check this out yourselves, you most certainly can. This is the link. But here is more about their history. They have a timeline right here. So Dysautonomia Foundation was founded by the parents of children with FD in 1951, shortly after the disorder was first identified in the U.S. 18 years later, the treatment center was established at NYU under the direction of Dr. Axelrod. That was Mitchell's primary care doctor. And she was great. Shout out to Dr. Axelrod. She was incredible. Actually, I'll tell you a story. I also, not to really make this about me, but Dr. Axelrod, the point of this whole story is that Dr. Axelrod actually saved me too, because she noticed that when I was really young, something wasn't right with me. And I got diagnosed with a rare disorder as well, called SCAD. SCAD is a metabolic problem. There's MCAD, which is medium chain acyl-CoA dehydrogenase deficiency, and there's SCAD, which is the short chain. So I had problems with processing fats, and I still have to take riboflavin. I still have to take medicine for that to this day, because I have a metabolic disorder. But she was the first one who recognized that, and she actually got me help too. And if it weren't for her, I don't even know if I would essentially be here. Really, it's insane. So Dr. Axelrod, big shout out to her. I don't know if she's tuning on in or not. But yes, she really helped Mitchell so much. And I give her so much thank you. The Dysautonomia Center in Israel was established in 1980 at the Hadassah Hospital, Mount Scopus in Jerusalem. It was established by Dr. Chana Mayan. I hope I said that correctly. Please, if anybody is here, if my parents know the pronunciation, please correct me if I say anything wrong or if I'm misspeaking, because I do not want to be misspeaking. That's what I care about. I care about giving the facts and saying everything correctly. The first FD annual conference was held in 1985, and it brought together families and caregivers for a day of learning. We talked about it before, but they would always have it in June, and we would always drive up to the NYU Medical Center, and my parents would stay and listen to the presentations. I would go upstairs when I was a kid, and I would be with Mitchell, and they would have different types of things there for the patients. They had an animal show. They had somebody come on in and show off some of the animals that they had, like wallabies. And it was a really cool thing. They had a magic show one year as well, if I remember correctly. So they got to see magic tricks, and that was all really cool. We did arts and crafts projects as well while we were there. It was a great thing. In 2008, construction was completed on an expanded dysautonomia center at NYU, doubling the space and adding a state-of-the-art research lab. 2007, Dr. Kaufman, who is a professor of neurology, joined the center team as head of the new dysautonomia research laboratory as well. And there's a lot of really cool things that you can check out here with the history of familial dysautonomia. In 2018, National Institutes of Health worked with the NYU Center on both FD patients and mice to understand the cause of potential treatments for the GI problems in people with FD as well. But yes, there's a whole bunch of things about the history of FD. Here's some of their programs that they have to offer as well. They have hangouts. They have portable oxygen concentrators. Let's look a little bit more into this, because this one I really don't know about. Most people with FD cannot tolerate high altitudes. That's why Mitchell couldn't fly in planes and may pass out on airplanes without supplemental oxygen. There you go. So they loan portable oxygen concentrator units to families at no cost, which is actually really awesome. So the FD Foundation has OxLife Independence units for use by FD families while they travel. These deluxe units deliver continuous or pulse oxygen. And then you can actually rent a POC unit, which is really awesome. All POCs are battery operated, and some can be plugged into electrical outlets or simultaneously run the unit, charge the unit and charge the battery, and they all come with built-in or detachable carts. So yeah, that's really cool. Then they got these are the hangouts that they do. They have virtual game nights that they have. That's really awesome. They have different types of groups here, as you can see. There's a yellow group, which is for 20s. There's the green group, which is for people in their 30s. They meet Mondays bi-weekly at 8 o'clock on Mondays. That's really awesome. And then they have virtual game nights. Their next virtual game night that they have in 2026 is on April 27th. It's at 7:30. They don't say which games that they're going to do, but that's a very awesome thing that they have. So, yeah, that's really awesome. So these are, again, just some of the events that they have. They also have mental health counseling as well, which is great. I want to see a little bit more about this. Mental health counseling program is named in love of Stevie Schwartzberg, and the essential services is supported through fundraising efforts by the family. I actually didn't know that. You can make a gift to support that program, which is really cool, by clicking on the link that's over here, or you contact the foundation as well. I actually didn't know that they had that. That's really awesome. Oh, wait, excuse me. The mental health, I did know that they had it. Works virtually with FD patients one-on-one to address social, emotional, and mental health challenges that they may experience. Yeah, I actually do remember that because Lainey told me about that last year. But anyhow, all that stuff is really, really cool. You said Mitchell was tube fed, JJ. All right, here we go. Here's some questions. This is what I want to hear. You said Mitchell was tube fed. Could he try different foods, or was it some kind of formula? So Mitchell did get formula. Mitchell did get coffee. He did get a little bit of caffeine, but he couldn't eat by mouth. Like, he was totally 1,000% tube fed. He was tube fed pretty much his entire life. But yeah, regular foods. It's funny. Mitchell said that his favorite food, and again, you have to understand, like, he didn't eat by mouth, but his favorite food was pizza. I don't know why he liked pizza. I guess it was because it was in, like, Scooby-Doo and some of these Disney movies, but yeah, he couldn't actually eat pizza. But no, he was totally tube fed. I've been here for 27 years. I don't think I need to worry too much, says Grace. Mom says I'm doing perfect. That's good. That's good. Any other foods that you can think of, Mom, that he actually did eat that were like human foods that people would eat by mouth? I can't really think of any. I thought that we were going to try to give him cake one time, like in his feeding tube, but I don't think we ended up doing that. One of the old nurses had the idea of, like, maybe trying to see if we could, like, give him, like, some type of, like, birthday cake or something in his tube. So, but yeah. Every Friday night, we always did services. We always did a Shabbat at our family table. Like I said, it's, this is of Jewish ancestry. That's where the disorder lies. So Mitchell would come on over to the table on Friday nights, and of course, whenever it was time to say Amen, Mitchell would say Amen with us, and he would sit with us at the table, which was always really cool. And he always wore the yarmulke, and it was just a nice way to just be able to bring him together, and just be able to include him, because again, he was the center of all of our lives. You have to understand, like, we made a lot of sacrifices for him. My parents really did a lot. So I just want you guys to understand that and sort of try to wrap your head around it, because I know it's hard. But you think about all the time I'm streaming. I'm not streaming if he's around. Gosh, not doing this as much. RB, what's up, RB? RB says you're the GOAT, man. From the content creator all the way to the person. I'm glad people get to see your true character. Great stuff. Keep doing you. And this is coming from the GOAT himself. This is coming from the GOAT himself. Thank you so much, dude. I love you so much, buddy. And I mean that. You know? It's a beautiful thing, like what we're doing. Mom, no. We never gave him birthday cake. But always had a cake for him and blew out the candles. You'll actually see in the documentary that I made, I had a video that my dad took of him blowing out the candles, and we had to be careful because, again, this is a guy who could not feel temperature or pain, so he could get his face like really close to the candles, and sometimes I still watch that, and I'm like ready to like pull him back just because it's a trigger for me, you know, because you really had to watch him. You did. That was a really big thing. But he loved blowing out the candles, and then he liked opening presents. You don't see it in the video, but he loved opening presents. He would actually tear up the wrapping paper and he would throw it on the floor, and it got bad when we got a dog because the dog would end up eating the wrapping paper. So we had to make sure that we cleaned all that stuff up. But he did love opening presents, for sure. Quite a character, man. Philly take with RB, another GOAT in the house, for sure. Once again, Paul, Denbrew, Doc, Max, Blazed, Eric, Dave, Mitch. Those are all the people that I know that have donated so far. Thank you all so much for all the donations. If I missed a donation, please call me out and please let me know, because I care about getting everybody's name down here. And if you did donate, please also email me as well. If you donated via YouTube, I really want to write you guys thank you notes, and I want to make sure that I personally address that to you guys. So my email is jasonjosephonair@gmail.com. I'm posting the whatchamacallit to that, the exclamation point, the bot command, I should say. That's the right word. But yes. So there is the bot command. Great memories, dude. You're going to really enjoy the documentary that I made on him. You're going to really like it a lot. It's a great thing. Let's take another sip of water. If you're just tuning on in for the first time, welcome aboard. Once again, my name is Jason Joseph, and this is Play by Play with JJ. We're on for 48 straight hours. We started at 9:07. That's when we officially came on stream. I wrote it down. It was actually 9:09. So that means that we got to be on stream until 9:09 Friday. So that's what's going on. Mitchell really loved Disney movies. Loved watching Batman as well. Big fan of SpongeBob. He pretty much watched like every Disney movie that you can think of from like the early parts of Disney up until like 2011, 2012. So my sister and I were really involved with theater, and Mitchell loved it when we would recite lines. Whenever we were in the car, we would have to sing his songs. My dad made him CDs. Yes, made him CDs that we would play in the car. No Spotify playlist, no streaming, nothing like that. But he would have CDs in the car, and we would have to like blast the music for him, especially if there was like a favorite song that he liked. And we would sing his songs. That's what kept him happy. He would say radio. And that's what we did whenever we were on a trip. Didn't matter where it was. If we were all together as a family, it always had to be, put on the radio. How do these at Gmail things work? So how did the bot commands work? Where is the command list? This is a great question. I'm really happy that you asked. Where is chat rules? Chat rules, ! Chat rules. But how do we get all the commands? Here is, yes, okay. So if you want to get all the commands, ! Commands is where we get all of our commands. So if you click that link, those are all of the commands. So make sure that you have that up. It actually really does help if you guys do have that open. So that way I don't always have to post like reminders of like where people can donate and all those things. Ben Tile says, your personal stories make me feel like I knew Mitchell. Looking forward to the documentary. How old was he? And was he older or younger than you? Ben Tile, thank you so much for tuning on in, man. I was the baby of the family. I still am the baby of the family. So Mitchell, born in 1990. Alyssa, 94. Me, 98. So, yeah, Mitchell was the oldest. He would have been 30. He passed away at 29 and 11 months. Almost 11 months. 29 years and 11 months. When I click these bot commands, nothing happens. Am I missing something? When you click the bot commands, hold up a second. When you click on those bot commands, where are they? It should take you right on over to Stream Elements, and it should tell you all the bot commands that we have. So you have to press default when you get there, and then, no, not default. I'm sorry, all the commands. You can press custom, and then you can see like ! 48 hours. So let me actually, this is probably better if I showed you. I apologize. Again, I'm learning as I do this. So here are all of the commands. Let's see. There's myself. And we can go to Stream Elements right here. Here's what it takes you to. This is what should be on your page right now. If you click that. And these are all the commands. So if you type in ! 48, this response comes on up. If you type in ! Challenges, this one comes on up. And you can factor that into custom, default. That's the page that it should take you to. Good question. These are all great questions. So that is what is going on. What time is it? 11:22. How old was he? Yeah, so he was he would have been 30. So, and again, we're going to keep talking about him during these 48 hours. Obviously, even when we're doing baseball stuff, we're still going to be talking about him, but overnight we're doing another presentation again because I know that there's going to be people that have missed this that are really just going to want to know. So it's a beautiful thing in that regard. Ben Tile with a $20 donation. You are the man. Ben Tile with the 20. Thank you so much. You're the best. I appreciate you. Chat, let me look really quickly. Where are we? So right now we have raised $135 total dollars so far during these 48 hours, and that makes me super, super happy. Thank you so, so much. We're doing some good, man. We're definitely doing something good, and that makes me extremely happy. All right, what time is it? 11:23. Yeah. What else can we do? We've done this for 2 hours already, so that's pretty good. Let's take more sips of water. One of my favorite things, and this is my dad's favorite thing too. I will always remember this. So Mitchell went to a 21 plus school at Hollydale. Before he went and got into the 21 plus school, they call it TOPS for short, there was an event that they had, and it was a prom event. And Mitchell really liked this girl. I don't know what it was that he saw, but he actually really liked this girl. And it was really, really cool. And she really liked him. She thought that he was really funny. And it was like a really beautiful thing. And he goes to prom with her. I'm there. My dad's there. I don't remember if my mom was there. I'm pretty sure my sister was. And some of the helpers at the school were there too. We got Mitchell all dressed up, and we got him away from his DVD player, and we got him to stand, and getting him away from that DVD player, guys, took a lot. It took so much to get him away from the DVD player. But we got him away. We got him up and out of the wheelchair. And he actually danced with her. My dad and I are just looking. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And that was personally like one of my proudest moments. If not like one of my favorite memories. Just seeing how happy he was and the look in his eye. And seeing her look at him. It was a really beautiful thing. It was so awesome. And that is like one of my favorite stories that I have of Mitchell. Getting him away from that DVD player took so much. And when he was there, he was just happy. So it was really beautiful. And sometimes like you can't explain something, you know? Like I feel like that was, unconditional love. So that was just a beautiful thing. Whenever we would go out, and if we would go to Sesame Place, or if, Batman was coming on over to the JCC, we would obviously take him over there. There was one time Spider-Man came over to Toys R Us, and we got him over there, and Mitchell did not want to get away from Spider-Man, and he loved him. Like the movie characters in these movies were his friends. Like that's what he literally called them. He called them his friends. And that was something that was really awesome. Like taking him to those types of events when he was feeling really good were some of the best days that I had. That's the truth. So, love this, JJ. You're doing a great job as always, the Snowman. Thank you so much, my guy. I really appreciate that. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. Mitchell loved Elmo. There was actually one time where I was in the Sesame Place parade. It was my birthday. And I had a good time then, but I'm sorry, there was one time, and it was on an old video. I saw it like years and years ago. My parents didn't know this, but Big Bird was coming on up to me, and my head got stuck in his white, like little tie, his white little collar when he was bending down to say hi to me. My head got stuck, and I cried. And Mitchell thought it was funny. Mitchell was laughing. Both my parents didn't know, and they were like, "Why are you crying?" And of course, like I didn't really know like what to say, but I wasn't really much of a crier when I was really young. But I do remember that Mitchell saw me when my neck got stuck in that tie, and Mitchell was laughing. I was not a happy guy though that day. But that definitely made me sad. But it was all in good fun. It was a good thing. So I have my Batman mask over here. Actually, here's something that I'll do. I have a picture. Let me go get it really quickly. And every day I have this picture. It's on my bookshelf. And it looks like this. And I don't know if you guys can see it. Sorry about the glare. This is what it looks like. There's me. On the left, there's him in the center. And then that's my sister on the right side. This was in 2012. Look at how different I look. Still have that picture. I wasn't smiling in the picture, of course. Figures. But I still really like that picture because it was with all three of us. Having the picture on a phone is cool. But having a physical copy of a picture, it's a reminder, man. It's a reminder of, you know, how far you've come. It's a reminder of, like, what happened in the past. And it's good to remember those types of things. So, it's really nice. Do have a Batman plane. Mitchell loved his Batman plane. He would hold it a lot. I don't know where mine is, though, which, of course, is very fitting for this event. I don't know why I don't know where mine is. I'll have to find it. I thought I actually had it out, but of course I didn't. But Mitchell loved the Batman planes. We went through a lot of Batman planes because, again, this is a guy who didn't feel temperature or pain, and if you took your eye off of him for a second, he could, like, put that plane right on his mouth or, hurt himself. So, but he did like the Batman planes, and we obviously had to make sure that he was careful with them. But we had plenty. Right, Mom? Plenty of those. Ugh. I said this before. I will say it again. I also want to make sure that when I talk about Mitchell, that I talk about the great care that he got. Because the people that really supported him, the good night nurses that stayed with us, the good doctors that we had, the good, the good people that were in our lives, those people stayed with us for a really long time up until he passed. A lot of them. But, they were a part of our family too. My mom still does in November every year. She still does a nurse's day in honor of him. And it's nice because then the nurses can get together and they know each other really well. And we have like a brunch. And my mom also does an activity with them, which is really cool. And so those people, if it weren't for them, They played a big part in his life as well. And they were family to us. And for those people, I will always thank. You'll see some of them in the video. You'll see a lot of them in the video, actually. But those people definitely were a big part of his daily life, too. I said before, and I'll say it again, his eye doctor, during COVID, when Mitchell had a corneal abrasion from putting the DVD player to his eye, the eye doctor saw him, literally had her gear on and ready to go. She texted my mom. She said, I can't see him in the office, but just come on over. And this is an eye doctor who lives 5 minutes away. She just had her gear, and she just said, come on over, because it was getting bad. And she saw him right in the driveway, right in her driveway. My mom would send her pictures of the abrasion almost every day. She would just ask the eye doctor, how's his eye doing? Who does that? Another person, his dentist, his hygienist, would see him every month. And she always found a way to get him on in, even if it was busy. She always made time for him. Mitchell couldn't eat by mouth, so he would develop a lot of plaque in his mouth, and that had to be taken care of. So his dentist was incredible. We still talk to her and that family to this day, and their family for life too. There's just some really good people that I obviously have to acknowledge because they made a difference. And I will tell you straight up, when we lost Mitchell, it was really tough for me in the very beginning because it wasn't just losing him. It was losing all the nurses. It was losing, the movies. It was losing all the other supplemental things, the secondary losses that really impacted me as well. And the house became really quiet because the nurses were around. They were making meds. There was always a lot of commotion going on. There was always a lot of noise. And then when he was gone, it was like poof. And it became really uncomfortable for me. It still kind of is to this day. I still have to have the lights on. Mitchell light the lights on. I don't like it when it's dark. My parents don't even know that. But I also like it when there's a TV on in the background when, I'm eating dinner, because there was always a TV on in the background and Mitchell was watching his movies. And there was that noise. So. All right. It is 11:37 a.m. Eastern Time. I want to make sure that I play this documentary for you guys. So just before I even play the documentary, I just wanted to say a couple of things, just so that way you understand. First and foremost, there's no ads at all. No ads whatsoever during this whole 48-hour stream. No ads at all. I'm not making a dime off of this. If you super chat me, that's even going to the charity. That's even going to Familial Dysautonomia. I really mean that. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that this was made 10 years ago, this documentary that I did. I did this for a TV media project. It was for my senior year of high school. It was the final project that we had to do, and it was a documentary. I had to make a documentary for my class, and I thought, well, Mitchell hits home, obviously, and his story deserves to be shared. I did it actually, though, for not even just that. There were a couple other reasons why I did it, too. Number one, I wanted to make this documentary because I thought that at the time, when my mom and other nurses would welcome in other nurses, I wanted them to get a feel for what being around Mitchell was like, and I wanted them to watch that. And I felt like that it was really important for my parents to be able to have some sort of visual representation of, you know, like what it was like seeing him on his good days and on his bad days. Because these nurses would just come on in and they could see him just on one side. Like, they didn't get to see his life at school. They didn't get to see his life, you know, in other spots, like at nighttime or like when he's walking up the steps. Like, even just those little things really, I thought, was a good indicator on whether or not these people wanted to stay and what they are signing up for. And so I thought that it was really important for me to make a video that way, because it was good for them and it was obviously good for my parents. And we actually did have one person, I'm not going to name names because I don't do that, but there was one person who actually did watch the video. There were a couple people that obviously watched it, but one of them was like, I can't do this. And she went through all the training and everything, and she couldn't do it. And then there were a couple of other nurses that were like, man, like, this is really well done, and I'm happy that you showed this to me. Like, thank you. And I'm so happy I did it for that reason. The other reason why I made this documentary, chat, was because I knew that there was going to be a time where he was gone, where he just wasn't around us anymore. And I thought, well, his memory has to live on somehow. Why not make a video about him? Because I don't ever want to forget. And I want that out in the universe, and I know that he would too. So that's why I did it. That's why I made the documentary. For those reasons. And we can always look back on it and we can say to ourselves, how different was life then? I was filming this stuff on an iPad. I also filmed it on like a DSLR camera too. So the quality is going to look a little bit different. The editing, I edited it off of iMovie. Times were different. So I do hope that you guys enjoy. And I hope that you guys learned something from this. I hope that you learned something about me, about my family, and just a little bit more about life, you know? Because I feel like that there's something that we can all take out of this. So with that, let's play this documentary. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. So after I play the documentary, I am going to end my stream. And then we're going to move on to DiamondZone. And we're obviously going to keep announcing the donations and all that type of stuff. So, without further ado, here's my documentary on my brother.
Out of all superheroes, everyone has their favorite. Some people say it's the Flash. Others say it's Wonder Woman, Superman, or the Hulk. But there's no dispute for Mitchell Joseph. It's definitely Batman.
He loves the Batman movies.
All-time favorite is Batman.
Batman. He loves Batman.
Started out as Batman and still is Batman today.
If Batman is ever coming to the JCC or any other place that's local, we'll get Mitchell outside of the house and we'll have him go interact with Batman because he loves Batman.
Mitchell Joseph, who's 25 years old, is a huge Batman fan. He has an enormous array of Batman movies, collectible items, and clothes. Batman gives Mitchell an ability to live a full life of adventure and excitement. What many people don't know is that Mitchell was born with a Jewish genetic disease called Familial Dysautonomia, or FD. Familial, which is genetic through the family, and dysautonomia is the dysfunction of the autonomic and sensory nervous systems. This means that he cannot feel temperature or pain in his body. Mitchell's disorder has many symptoms, including scoliosis, unstable blood pressure, and the inability to produce tears.
He has a DVD player and he scrapes his hands on it a lot. And that's kind of when he's excited or when he's watching it continuously. And he rubs his knuckles on it and they get red. Sometimes he'll bang them and he gets like sores on his hands.
You know, Mitchell can bang his hand. One time he got it caught in the door, the sliding door of the van, inadvertently, and he didn't know anything happened really other than his hand was stuck.
We find a way to catch the signals that his body sent out to us. Like, for example, when he's cold, you can see like what we call a goose bump, and he's shivering. That's a sign that he's cold.
When Mitchell wakes up, his body needs to adjust from sleep to wake mode. Because his vital signs are not regulated, he often goes into a state called crisis. This causes him to have many episodes of retching, sneezing, high blood pressure, and heart rate.
He can retch almost like he needs to throw up, but he can't. He can't throw up. He had a thing called a fundification, which sews the top of the stomach, so he can't throw up. We have to vent anything that's there in order to bring it out. So he can retch, but he can't throw up.
You really have to watch Mitchell and make sure that he doesn't aspirate or have an accident, and it can be very scary at times when he gets sick or when he goes into crisis.
When something goes wrong, everyone chips in. Someone gives the oxygen, someone goes and helps him, and it's a whole effort by everyone.
Finding out that Mitchell had FD was really devastating. It was very difficult. The last thing I expected was to have a baby that wasn't healthy. And it was really difficult because we were very scared, not knowing what was going to be for his future.
We had to learn what to do, what to deal with, what it really meant, how do we take care of him. All those things went through our heads.
Since Mitchell cannot swallow food from his mouth, he uses a feeding tube. Next to Mitchell's belly button, he has another button that is used for medication, hydration, and nutrition.
That's right. His feeds is a puree and a formula. They're to like give him nutrients and to keep his body fed. He gets medications. He gets a lot of respiratory medications, which includes his inhalers and his neck treatments.
He gets what makes that called carbidopa, so that help him with his blood pressure.
He gets formula that the doctor has prescribed called Complete Pediatric. He also gets Pedialyte and water. But we also, Mom has always wanted him to eat food that his brother and sister eats as well. So when I make the feeds, there's scrambled eggs, there's peaches, sweet potatoes, carrots, avocados, peanut butter, and this powder called Scanda Shake, which adds a lot of calories to the food.
In order to get to know him better, let's take a look at a day in the life of Mitchell. Around 6:30 a.m., Mitchell usually wakes up. With the help of either his mom or one of his nurses, together they walk downstairs. Then his morning routine begins with respiratory treatments, including a nebulizer medication, a coffilator, and vest treatment.
We start with breathing treatments and nebulizers, and then he has a vest treatment, and then he has a coffilator. All of these things help with trying to clear his system so that he doesn't aspirate into his lungs.
The vest that we put on is called an ABI vest. It shakes his chest. We used to do chest compressions where we used to go like this. It's called cupping on his back to loosen secretions that are in his lungs.
One is to shake everything up basically so that when you go to do the cough later, he can cough, and if he has any secretions, he can bring them up.
He wears what's called a BiPAP, and it's a breathing machine that gives him oxygen if he needs it, just to keep his oxygen level up. A lot of times at night, some people will either skip a breath, not necessarily Mitchell, but their just breathing becomes more shallow when you sleep. And in order to keep his oxygenation at a certain level, that we put that on him at night.
Once Mitchell is up to date with his medicine and treatments, it's time to pack up and go to his 21 Plus program. During the weekdays, Mitchell attends this program at Hollydale High School in Washington Township. Mitchell's mom and nurse help him get to the car safely. He loves to travel, singing along with his favorite tunes. Mitchell's mom meets up with the bus driver at a designated bus stop, who takes Mitchell and his nurse to the daily program.
When he doesn't want to work, he does nothing. But usually you can persuade him. He will work on puzzles, matching shapes, matching patterns. He counts money. Activity-wise, he is now starting to ride a bike. It's a specialized bike where he can steer, but in the back there's a handle that you can help him steer.
At his program, Mitchell interacts with other students and teachers. He has developed a great support of friends.
When they take attendance, Mitchell takes attendance and he has to point to everybody, so he knows everybody's name. He finds it hard to make friends, but he's very compassionate to other kids that are in wheelchairs. It's strange. He knows that they need more help than he does at times because he's not wheelchair bound as much, so he also likes to help people that are in wheelchairs. He likes help pushing them. He likes touching their hands and asking them if they're okay. So he has his own way of having friendships.
Coming home from his program, it's time for his afternoon routine. He once again gets respiratory treatments.
So Mitchell loves the villains, like to every Disney movie and even to some other movies that he watches. Like he loves the Joker, he loves the Penguin, all from Batman. He loves all the Batman villains. He loves Shere Khan from the Jungle Book, Scar from the Lion King, Ursula from the Little Mermaid,
Thumbelina. So he loved that, and he watched SpongeBob also.
He loves Disney. He really loves villains and other like things that aren't Disney. So like The Wizard of Oz or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
When you speak the lines to him, you develop a bond that's like, I don't want to say it's unreal, but it's just, it's an interaction with Mitchell that you can't have with any other person.
Definitely participating in his world and in those films. Mitchell loves that, so he loves when everyone sings his songs and really creates that like community with him.
Always get a hello, a smile. He's always happy, singing. He likes to be read to at night, which I do. It's just amazing how happy this child is.
Mitchell has overcome many obstacles and has become a superhero himself. Every day he battles with FD and wins.
Mitchell has taught me to enjoy each day and to make the most of whatever you have. And I try to have fun. It's hard to be a caretaker and a mom. That's one of the most difficult things that goes with this for me. It's hard to just step back and be a mom because there's so many things that I have to look out for his well-being.
Mitchell's special because he has an infectious sense of humor and a laugh that you look at him and if he's feeling good, he's almost always in good spirits.
Even though he's sick a lot, he still finds things in life to be happy about and sing, and he has compassion and wants the people around him to be happy and share that with him.
What makes him unique is he's Mitchell. Mitchell is, well, first he's taught me patience. Mitchell has a good soul. There's nothing bad in Mitchell. He hasn't been influenced by the world. We need to take a lesson on that.
He's helped me realize that these kids are special, but even though they are special, have special needs, they need to be treated like a normal child. If they do something wrong, yes, they need to be corrected. But there are certain ways and to do this, but with Mitchell, you just have to say certain things and he follows through.
No matter how stressed I am sometimes, or if I'm in a really bad mood, he's always taught me how to look at the bright side of things. And he's also taught me how to interact with other special needs kids and make an impact in their life.
Advocating for Mitchell means that I am fighting for his rights, because Mitchell can't really speak for himself, and he deserves a quality of life that is as good as everyone else's. And he needs certain supplies, and he needs to go to certain doctors, and he needs different kinds of appointments, and all of those things need to be done. A lot of times it's a fight for the insurance company because they don't want to provide you with the best health care. They just want to give you the minimum services that they have to. So I speak up, and I don't like to quit, and I don't like to lose. So I keep fighting, finding a way.
Suddenly here, every time you are near, just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born.
Mitchell, who is that? Who? Tell me. Batman? Yeah. Taking a short video, Batman. Oh! Who is that?
Come on.
Nice shirt.
So, how many times can we catch you today? When are you out?
Shake his hand. Shake his hand.
So that means 2, 4, that open.
Just like me, they long to be close to you. On the day that you were born, the angels got together and decided to create a dream.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mitchell. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Mitchell, how many years old are you? 2,
21.
1.
Right?
Okay. Ready?
Go ahead.
Keep going.
Good job, Mitchell.
So there you have it. There you have it. That's the documentary I made on him. Let me know what you guys think down below. For those of you who did tune on in, let me know if that gives you obviously more of an indication on who he was. I spent a lot of time putting that together when I was in high school, and it was one of my favorite things. I'm so happy I did it. I am really proud that I did that because that was something that really meant a lot to me. Other people were doing their documentaries on other things, and I really wanted to take mine serious. So, thank you so much for tuning on in. I really appreciate that. Let me know if there's any cool things that you learned, cool things that you didn't know about me or about my family. Again, like I'm just on a screen. Like, you just have to realize that I'm just like calling games. Like, you don't really see like another side of me, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. And I'm happy I did it last year because you get to see another aspect of my life, or another aspect of what my life was like and what everybody else's life was like when he was around, and how that carries on into my streaming career right now. You know, it's made me into who I am today, and I'm not afraid to hide that. I'm really not. I try to stand up for good things. That's really what I try to do. David, thank you so much. Ben Tile, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all. I will definitely make sure that I post this again, and that I will, of course, do the lecture again. We'll have other people that didn't tune on in be able to check this stuff out. We'll definitely make sure that we get the timestamps for everything, so that way we can break it all down. But yeah, it's a good day today. It's just a little bit emotional for me because I spent so much time making this stream, and I keep forgetting like how much it is just be able to talk about it. Like, you know, it's a lot. And honestly, at first when I thought about doing this, I thought like, dang, like, you know, like, why should people care? And I thought about it, and I kept thinking about it, and I'm like, well, there's people that I feel like would really care and try to make a, you know, a positive influence, that type of a thing. I can say I've learned a lot this morning about FD. Your family is amazing, and Mitchell was truly blessed to have such a loving group supporting him. Thank you very much. Thank you. That means more than words. It really does. I'm happy that that video really made you see like what life was like for him outside of the house. Just get you an idea. Like, that's really what the whole video was about. Just give people an idea of what life was like for him. And I like the pictures at the end. I'm hoping that everything is okay with the DMCA stuff, because that part I didn't even think about until now. And they take that really, really seriously on YouTube. And this was for a class project from 10 years ago. I probably should replace the music, even though I love that song. And it's so fitting for this type of a thing that I did. But yeah, I took a lot of time putting that together. Fuqua, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Fuqua, you are the best. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So chat, once again, this is what's going on today. I will make sure that, again, that I continue to tell people that this is what our streaming schedule looks like. So right now, we're at the end of number 1. We'll start number 2 in a little bit. And then we'll get into number 3 and number 4. Whoops, I'm so sorry. Where are we? We are not in the right one. My bad. Yes, there we go. There we go. Right here. This is where we are. Can't go wrong with the Carpenters now. Shout out to the Carpenters. Karen Carpenter. Amazing. But yeah, DiamondZone's going to come up next. 12:40 is when we start. And this is what's going on. This is the rest of our streaming schedule for these 48 hours. And once again, these are the fundraising challenges. $1,000, we do Disney trivia. $2,500, we do Batman mask, and we also do the Batman voice. If we get to $5,000, we do SpongeBob Voices. 1 hour straight of SpongeBob Voices. We'll do a rotation of 15 minutes per voice. So the first 15 minutes we'll do SpongeBob. Second 15 minutes we'll do Squidward, and we'll have a timer. And we have to do this as we're calling the games and as we do our challenges, which we'll get to in a second. $7,500, we do Disney Karaoke. And we will obviously make you guys choose the song. Probably won't be during DiamondZone. That will probably be an after DiamondZone type of a thing. And then 10,000, we get pie to the face. And that is going to be in a separate video. These are the DiamondZone Challenges. So last week on Wednesday, there were 131 runs scored. The week before that, there were 128 runs scored on Wednesday. Every run will equal 5 jumping jacks. So there's 15 games today. Every run that's scored, we do 5 jumping jacks. Every home run is 10 squats. Every grand slam is 3 chair raises. And by the way, the squats plus the jumping jacks. Every 30 runs, we do 30 kicks. Plus the jumping jacks and all that. And every 50 runs, we do 50 punches. These are the DiamondZone challenges for today and for tomorrow. This is the schedule coming on up, okay? And we're just going to stick with this. Today's schedule is as follows. So we're going to end this stream, and then we're going to get ready for this upcoming stream. The games begin at 1:10. These are a little bit more spread. This is part 1. So we got the Rays taking on Cleveland at 1:10. We got the Angels playing Chicago at 1:10 as well. At 1:40, it's Seattle and Minnesota. At 2:35, it's the Yankees at Texas. They play against the Rangers. Then you got the Red Sox taking on the Blue Jays at 3:07. At 3:10, it'll be Miami versus the Dodgers. At 4:10, it'll be the Cubs versus the Padres. And then once things settle down and it goes into one diamond, which is one game, then we will make our next stream for this, for part 2. We will obviously be calling the Phillies game primarily. But if there's runs scored, if there's home runs hit, duty calls. And we got to do what we got to do. So if there's a home run hit in the Rockies game, we got to do the squats. We got to do the jumping jacks. And all that stuff as the Phillies are playing. And we'll do it during inning breaks. It's going to get chaotic, though. It is going to get wild. And I'm going to need your help to keep track of all of these runs. I am going to need your help with that. So the second part of this is going to get wild because there's 3 6:40 games. There's 1 6:35 game, plus the 4:10 game is probably going to wrap up. And then we got the beginning of the 7:10s, the 7:15s, and the 7:40s. And then there's only one late night game tonight, and that's Kansas City versus the Athletics. So right now we're going to end our stream. We're going to go on to the next one. There are redirects to every stream. All you have to do is stay on here. You don't even have to go anywhere. All right? So give me about 2 minutes. Let me actually do this really quickly. Let me make sure that I have the next stream set up. It's set up for 12:30. Okay. Good. Let's make sure that we copy and paste this link. So that way it's easy. Can I do that while I'm on here? File settings. Stream? No. Okay, I got to end stream first and then make the new link. The reason why I'm doing it this way, in case you're wondering, instead of just doing it for 48 hours, is because YouTube does not save all of the hours. So if you go over 12 hours, it only saves the last 12 hours. So if we're doing this for 48 hours, this is not going to save the first 36 hours. It resets every 12 hours. That's why we're breaking it all down, because YouTube doesn't allow you to do that. I hope that makes sense. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for part 1. We still got 7 more parts to go. And I will see you all in the next stream. First one goes 3 hours and 27 minutes. All right. See you in about 2 minutes.